Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome into Training Camp Live, presented by American Airlines with Nick Harris. I'm Kyle Yeomans as we take a look at some of the one-on-ones going into the offensive line and defensive line. This is a very competitive period, and you get to see the edge rusher getting after the offensive tackle. That time it was Leighton Vander Esch and Tyron Smith.
Yeah, I was about to say the new edge rusher, Leighton Vander Esch, getting a lot of work off the edge during training camp, getting a rep there against Tyron Smith. That's going to be interesting to see what Dan Quinn brings that out this season.
Vander Esch has put his hand in the ground a couple times throughout training camp so far. Here's Dante Fowler Jr. against Chuma Edoga. Edoga's had an up-and-down camp so far. Dante Fowler Jr., he's been pretty steady. So to see Edoga put Fowler Jr. on the ground there for a moment was a good sign.
Yeah, I really liked what I've seen from Dante Fowler during camp specifically. Little hands to the face there maybe from Chuma on Sam Williams.
Yeah, Williams really just had no leverage there to work off the edge. And this is fun because you get to see different looks. You're going to see a straight-on pass rush. You'll get to see some stunts. You'll get to see Dan Quinn. I mean, Dan Quinn's very much so in the middle of this thing. He is talking with everybody as it looks like Osa Odighizuwa gets ready to roll against first-team offensive line versus team defensive line, at least in the preseason, that is, with Let's Go and Ball. They'll probably be your starters on Saturday against Jacksonville, going up against DeMarcus Lawrence and Osa Odighizuwa.
Yeah, these are valuable reps going into Saturday, especially once that game environment starts to get going. And now we got two guys going at once here. Now this is when it really starts to get fun a little bit, right, Kyle?
2 first-round picks, Mozzie Smith, Tyler Smith going after each other.
Against Tyron and Tyler, right?
How about that? Sam Williams off the edge against Tyron Smith there. And this is where you just want to see competition. Also, you want to see light feet, heavy hands. You want to see the movement, you want to see the footwork, the adjustment, and it's pure pass rush. I mean, there's not really a quarterback that's running around behind you, so this is the purest form of just getting in the backfield and trying to make a play.
Absolutely, and in this drill throughout training camp, Osa Odighizuwa has specifically found the most success, and he finds a little bit of success there just because he has those heavy hands. He can really swipe and swim through guys really with ease, and we've seen it a little bit so far today as well.
That was an encouraging rep there from Josh Ball, even Matt Farniok dapping up Ball following the rep as he was able to sort things out. That's the thing with the stunts and the 2v2 portion of this drill is you get a chance to see things switch a little bit, and you get to see the way that they have to sort through some of the mud and try and get the right block and the right assignment.
Yeah, communication is so critical in these environments, especially when those stunts come around. You got to be able to pass guys off and have that little bit of communication and assimilation with them.
So here we go, going into 11-on-11 drills. Full team is Dak Prescott and a healthy helping of ones out on the field at the moment. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Kevontae Turpin, and Brandon Cooks out there as well as they give it to Tony Pollard. Good to see Pollard back in the fold after missing Monday and Tuesday for personal reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there's any questions about him coming off of that injury from last year, Mike McCarthy this morning said, no, he's ready to go. He looks great. He probably won't get a good dose of or any dose of action during the preseason on Saturday, but he looks good so far out here in training camp.
In this drill, it is 1, 2, 3, 4th down. I mean, this is just pure football, trying to drive down the field and make a play, offense versus defense. And of course, with this being really the last action for the ones, you would anticipate a lot of that competition, get a lot of reps for these guys today. And then Mike McCarthy said in his walk-off earlier that a lot of the focus during the walkthrough later goes into that preseason game number 1 against Jacksonville. So lots of reps for the one. This is going to be a good time to watch everything.
Yeah, and speaking of reps, the running backs, that's going to be so valuable, the reps that they get today and on Saturday. We saw Rico Dowdle get a reception there on a check down. He's been fantastic during camp. He was listed as the number 2 running back on the unofficial depth chart, but he's looked good so far out here.
This is 4th down and short, and it's off the hand, incomplete of Sean McEwen. If he would have reeled it in, it was only 4th down at about 1.5. It would have been a conversion, but now the twos get a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And that tight end room, a young tight end room, a lot of guys who are looking to take that step and take that Dalton Schultz role. Sean McEwen's definitely a part of that, and that's a tough drop right there.
So 1st and 10 for Cooper Rush and the second team. Brock Hoffman in at center, by the way. Keep that in mind as he's rotated in at guard and at center throughout Oxnard this year.
And a carry to Deuce Vaughn there. I think he's going to have a big day on Saturday. A lot of fans are expecting Deuce to get on the field and maybe get a little loose in AT&T Stadium.
That would be so fun to watch. And really, any of these running backs, any sort of success for the ground game is, one, a good sign for the offense and the West Coast principles that Mike McCarthy's trying to install, but also just for the offensive line and a confidence builder for a lot of these running backs. In the tailback right now, Hunter Lipke, undrafted free agent rookie out of North Dakota State. They'll give it that direction as well, and he just goes plunging straight forward. Mike had some good words to say about Lipke, who's had a quiet camp but continues to work hard.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be that bell cow type, short yardage type of guy that we probably see in situations during the preseason starting on Saturday. But I'm very curious to see when they bring him out as far as downfield situations, when they're in the middle of the field between the 30s. When does Hunter Lipke maybe get in the game? Does he get in the game at all in those situations? So that'll be curious to watch.
It's now second down for the offense. They give them 2 first downs, by the way, for those that might be wondering. They haven't actually gained a first down, but now it's second down along the way. Just part of the drill. 2 receivers left, a little delayed handoff on the draw to Cavante Turpin, who puts a foot in the ground, turns upfield. There's a fun little wrinkle.
Absolutely. I love to see Cavante Turpin moved around in this offense, whether it be out of the backfield, in the slot, on the outside. We've seen a lot of different variety of that during training camp, but I think out of the backfield, that could be possibly his most dangerous weapon.
Got to find a way to get him involved more, whether it's as a receiver or as a runner. Both things could certainly help get number 9 going in this offense. Luke Schoonmaker out at tight end. He's on the left side of the line of scrimmage. Here's Cooper Rush, chest-high snap, 3-step drop. Throws it underneath to Jose Barbin, and he'll work to the far sideline before he is tagged up by Mandel. Short of the line to gain, or – oh, no, it's 4th down now, so here we go. Got one more rep, I believe, for the 2s. 4th and 1 is the situation. Where do you expect to go here, Nick, on 4th and 1? You trying to get something into the flats, or you looking over the middle of the field?
Yeah, this is interesting, especially with Deuce Vaughn in the backfield. Probably I would look to get something over the middle of the field, but the way they're stacking up this box, maybe try to work the flats a little bit more.
It is 12 personnel with a couple of tight ends in there as well. Princeton Fant, along with Seth Green in there.
And how confident will they be with Deuce Vaughn in these type of situations? I think that'll say a lot about his future use in this offense, especially in the preseason if they work him into these type of situations.
A couple big-time names on that defensive front, and looks like Mike McCarthy put an end to that, said the formation was a little off. A lot of big names up there. Jabril Cox, Mozzie Smith, Marquise Bell. You've got Neville Gallimore out there on the edge, Nashawn Wright. A lot of names that you will see on Saturday. Deron Bland out there as well. See what happens here on 4th and 1, because there's a loaded defensive front coming. They hand it to Deuce. Deuce bounces inside, and he looks to be stopped before he could get to the line of the game.
Yeah, that looked to be short, but just having the confidence to give him that ball in that situation, that says a lot about what Deuce has had here at training camp.
So here's an opportunity for the ones to try and improve on the drive that they had first. It ended in a 4th down stop off the hands and incomplete from Sean McEwen.
Yeah, and a notable defensive one right here is DeMarvion Overshone playing, looks like kind of a Mike roll right here.
Matt Farniok at center also. That's probably a wrinkle that'll show up on Saturday. So both Brock Hoffman and Matt Farniok getting snaps as center. There's a toss back to Pollard. Got some blockers out in front. I like that rep from the offense.
Absolutely. You love to see that, and you especially love to see it with Tony Pollard. How do they kind of implement him more in the running back game now that he is RB1? And you saw it right there, getting the ball out to him in space with blockers in front. You love to see that going into the preseason.
Terrence Steele getting outside. Good rep from Josh Ball, who we saw during the one-on-ones and 2v2s earlier. Malik Davis now in at running back. So put Tolbert in motion. And give it again to Davis. He ran right into the back of Tyron Smith.
Yeah, also Adigizua was the one that blew that one up, and then DeMarcus Lawrence was right there, right behind. So that was tough to find any hole right there.
So that was the 2 first down reps. Now we're heading into 2nd down. 2nd down and long. It's about 12 to gain a first down here, according to the markers. DeMarcus Lawrence way outside, rushing off the edge against Tyron Smith. Deep drop for Dak. Williams was there, throws over the middle. It's incomplete over the top of CeeDee Lamb. Malik Hooker nearly came over the top for an interception.
Yeah, and that was good coverage by Israel McComu as well. He was playing man-to-man with CeeDee Lamb, and there was a tight window to fit that in, and Dak Prescott could not quite get it, almost picked off.
Talked about it. It was 2nd down and long. They now give us some clarification. It's 3rd and 11. Dak faced some pressure from Williams off the edge. He actually came really through the interior as DeMarcus Lawrence set the edge for the defense.
And that's what makes this defense so dangerous. They're going to get inside the pocket, and they're also going to disrupt coverage, and that's a good example right there, even if it wasn't with guys that are typically in ones.
Might have been some movement up front from Terrence Steele. Throw into coverage. There's CD with the grab. Stephon Gilmore with great coverage over the top. He was right on top of him, but the ball was placed perfectly.
Yeah, and that's what CeeDee Lamb does best. You just put it in at least one of his hands, and he's going to come down with it. That's a big-time gain right there from CeeDee Lamb if that play would have stood.
4th and 7 is the call from John Fossil manning the mic.
He does a great job on the mic, right?
Yes, he does. You got to get him on Training Camp Live, maybe. Peyton Hendershot in motion. Turpin's in the fold, so is Tolbert. Jalen Brooks also out there. Dak wants it over the middle. Wide open. Tolbert created some separation with Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, Jalen Tolbert really helped out his quarterback right there. He came a little bit more underneath than probably the route designed because he looked back at the pocket, saw it was crashing in, and he came in right here at the 40-yard line and hauled in the reception. That's a big-time job from Jalen Tolbert.
All right, so we're going to watch this drive from the twos, and then we'll wrap things up here on Training Camp Live. While we got a chance to remind you, the Cowboys take on the Jaguars at 4 p.m. Central Time coming up on Saturday from AT&T Stadium. Tickets still available on SeatGeek, and also you can watch that broadcast live with myself, Bill Jones, Isaiah Stanback, Haley Sutton on the sideline starting at 4 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 3 as there goes Hunter Lipke.
Yeah, it's a great rep there from Hunter Lipke. He found the outside, worked with his tackle, and bounced right, and he found a hole.
Really like what we've seen from these two backup quarterbacks over the last few days as well. You and I were talking off air just about how sharp Cooper Rush was during Tuesday's practice, and Will Greer's not far behind.
Yeah, Will Greer's had a good day so far today. He's placed a couple of nice balls, but Cooper Rush, he's been a model of consistency out here in Oxnard. It's been fun to watch.
There's Deuce underneath. They had the play action, nothing there for Will Greer downfield, so he dumps it off to Vaughn, and Vaughn touched up quickly by Marquise Bell. Really nothing too much that could develop on that one.
Yeah, just getting the ball to Deuce in space. I guess that was the play call right there, and fortunately for the defense, they were right on top of it.
Alec Lindstrom in at center. Snapping the ball to Will Greer, who has a check with me at the line of scrimmage. In Banogu rushing off the edge. Handoff. Lipke again hit a nice hole. He got tripped up, and it looks like Chuma Edoga got banged up. He's holding that right knee. And that would not be a good sign for more of the depth of this Cowboys offense. So not the way we wanted to end Training Camp Live. Chuma Edoga carted off. Hopefully nothing too serious, and we do definitely hope the best for the veteran offensive linemen. Cowboys need that offensive line depth, and they've been tested all training camp long. They were tested again today.
Absolutely. The depth of that offensive line is going to have a big spotlight going into the preseason, especially as long as Zach Martin continues his holdout, and especially in that interior offensive line. That's going to be a big spotlight going forward.
Well, hopefully they can continue to find their rhythm, and then, of course, get back into the fold on Saturday, preseason game number 1, kicking off 4 p.m. Central Time from AT&T Stadium. But that does it for us today on Training Camp Live, presented by American Airlines. For Alex Lilly behind the camera, for my friend Nick Harris, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. We'll see you next time here from Oxnard.